Okay, now students, we are starting another important part of language, and this is all about the tips that you can use to make your language lifelike. इ- इससे पहले जो हम बात कर रहे थे, that was about what not to do in using a language. Now we will talk about what to do in using a language. First of all, speaking vividly, it means that words that are full of life. Use vivid language that is full of life, that makes the picture clear in the brain of your audience. And for this purpose, like for example, if there's a baseball game and the commentator announcer says that Jackson made a great catch, it sounds maybe good to you, but it can be sound more better if the commentator would use a vivid language. The vivid language will be Jackson leaped and made a spectacular one-handed catch just as he crashed into the center field wall. Now, what do you think about it? Isn't it more interesting? कुछ क्रिकेट की कमेंट्री याद आ रही है आप लोगों को? Now here we come towards the first one. This is sensory language. Sensory language is like you use words that appeal to seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and feeling. It is the usage of five senses. There are some very beautiful examples. It will appeal you psychologically, the sense of meaning that you are trying to convey. For example, if you feel the bite of the wind or the sting of the freezing rain, if you hear a smell, the thick, juicy cerulean steak sizzling on the grill, you will be able to describe these sensations. Does the cake taste good? Or do your taste buds quiver with the sweet double chocolate icing and velvety feel of the rich, moist cake? Now, how does sound this one? From now onwards, try to use sensory language. It really help your audience to understand and imagine your ideas. I often when ask students that what is your idea about something, how was your day, for example, so they would say it was good, it was not good. Now this come out of this good and bad thing, try to describe things, and definitely for description you would need sensory language. For example, there's a very interesting example about downhill skiing for the site. As you climb the hill, the bright winter sunshine glistening on the snow in blending. Now you can see over in this sentence all visuals, the sights are described. The second one, the touch and the feel. Before you take off, you gently slip your goggles over your eyes. They are bitterly cold and sting your nose for a moment. Now all the vocabulary used would appeal your touch and feel. Now, the next one is taste. You start the descent and you gradually pick up speed. The taste of air and ice and snow in your mouth invigorates you. Now, here comes the sound. An odd silence fills the air. You hear nothing but the swish of your skies against the snow beneath your feet. At last you arrive at the bottom of the slope. Re- Reality hits as you hear the hustle and bustle of other skiers and instructors directing them to their next session. Now, look, the words like hustle and bustle and swish, these are the sounds that appeal to the sounds. Now, smell and feel. You enter the warming house as your fingers thaw in the warm air. The aroma from the wood stove in the corner comforts you as you ready yourself to drift off into the sleep. Now over here the vocabulary is designed the language in a different way which could appeal your smell or the feel of smell. Now, for all using all these five senses, you need to use rhetorical figures and structures of speech. Now, what are rhetorical figures? Make rhetorical figures of speech is actually make striking comparisons between things that are not obviously alike. For example, it is combining of ideas in a particular way, and of these devices can serve to make your speech more memorable as long as they aren't overused. So be sensible when using it. It is very technical. First of all, it is a simile. It is very easy one. For example, you say, "Life is like a box of chocolates." No, like is like. Now, this is like is using simile, that you are associating a quality of one thing with another thing. This is also called direct comparison. Another important tool is using metaphors. Metaphor is implied, it is an implied comparison between two unlike things expressed without using like or as. जैसे सिमिलीज हैं उसमें इज लाइक और एज जो हैं इस तरह के वर्ड्स यूज होंगे, बट मेटाफर में वो डायरेक्टली एसोसिएट कर दिए जाते हैं विदाउट एनी कनेक्शन. Actually, metaphors can be effective because they make an abstract concept more concrete, strengthen an important point, or heighten emotions. Notice how one speaker used a metaphor effectively to conclude a speech. It is imperative that we weave our fabric of the future with durable thread. Now, what has the life to do with a fabric? But it is associated. And what is the life to do with a thread? But it is associated over here. This is all metaphor. Like, for example, if your car is with a very good speed, you would say, like, in using a metaphor, my car is a lion or is a tiger. So, definitely, lion and tiger are animals, and car is a machine. But why are you using it? Because you are using a metaphor. Another technique that is used in figurative of speech is alliteration. It is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of a word that are near one another. For example, she sells seashells by the seashore. This is now alliteration. Such alliteration are used to attract your audience to listen to you. It make your speech catchy. But please be careful, do not overuse it. It may hurt your audience and their intention to be seated over there. Assonance is another figurative speech, the repetition of vowel sound in a phrase or phrases. Like alliteration, assonance also help to make your audience arouse their interest and make your speech catchy. Like in assonance, the vowel sound repeats. Like there's an example of how now brown cow. Now this is rhyming of assonance. So this is also for catching your audience. You can use such sentences in your language. Now, onomatopoeia is another figurative speech that is about sounds. It is for the use of words that sound like the things they stand for. Like we just talked about splashing of the water, swishing of the feet. Now, this is about sounds. And there are so many others, such like buzz, hiss, crack, plop. These are sounds. And this is called onomatopoeia. If you use such words appropriately, if it is necessary, so it will arouse the interest of your audience and they will be involved and they will be imagining the situation with you. Another one is personification. It is attributing human qualities to a concept of an inanimated object. For example, the sentences like flowers dancing on the front lawn. So this is personification of flowers and dancing. Dancing is associated with human. It is a human attribute, not flowers, but it is associated over here. This is for personification. Repetition. Repetition is repeating a phrase again and again after some intervals in your speech, which make restating words, phrases, or sentences, and it bring the audience towards the emphasis. Like there's a very famous example of Martin Luther King's speech in which he is repeating, I have a dream. In all the speech, after completing some idea, he again start, I have a dream. Well, I can give you examples of over here in Pakistan. जैसे different जलसाज होते हैं different political parties के, तो वो अपना स्लोगन उसमें रिपीट करते हैं. जैसे पीटीआई में है, तब्दीली आ नहीं रही बल्कि तब्दीली आ गई है. And so how the audience is motivated and they become zealous and they become energetic with such slogans and repetitions. Another one is antithesis. It is combining contrast ideas in the same sentences. For example, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Same as when Neil Armstrong used antithesis when he stepped first time on the moon, that one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Now, small and giant both are used in one sentence. And it is recommended that if you use antithesis, it is very best to use in the end of a speech or of your presentation for concluding remark. Finally, again, for the purpose of emphasis, I'll repeat you, be careful about your language, the words that you are using, what are the dictionary meanings, denotations, and connotations, the connotative meanings. There are a lot of association with words, so be careful whenever you are using it. Try to find out the culture, gender sensitivity, and be concise and be practical when you are talking to the audience. There's another acronym that is used for public speaking or language or any presentation or any writing, that is KISS, KISS. It means keep it simple and short. Best of luck. I hope we will observe avoiding the certain things that are explained in this chapter and adopting figurative speech and different rhetorical techniques in your presentation. Best of luck. Goodbye.